Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Wednesday, November 13th, 2019.
Commissioner Villegas, James, Davis, and Caloza are present. President James, you do have a quorum. May we start with bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning. David Rivera, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Sandy Trong, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Ludmila Vertenesian, Sanitation.
Good morning, Robert Vega, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Safi Wiles, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section. No speaker cards were received for any of the items for today's agenda.
Okay, then we will close general public comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. On Monday, November 4th is our journal for approval of the minutes. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from November 4th by Commissioner Davis? Any objection? Without objection, we will approve those meeting minutes. Let's go ahead and take care of our bids this morning. We have a bid on one public works project, Olympic Boulevard, Flower Street to Lake Street. This is a Vision Zero project. The estimate is $805,300. This is in Council Districts 1 and 14. Dr. Campos on number 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. We will open up the bids now. We did receive 6 for the Olympic Boulevard, Flower Street to Lake Street STP project for Vision Zero, estimated at $805,300 in CD 1 and 14. The first bid received is from International Line Builders Incorporated for a total bid amount of $847,354 even. That's $847,354 from International Line Builders Incorporated. The second bid received is from Ferreira Construction Company Incorporated, doing business as Ferreira Coastal Construction Company, for a total bid amount of $944,466 even. That's $944,466 from Ferreira Coastal Construction Company. The third bid received is from VT Electric Incorporated. That's Victor Tom Electric Incorporated, for a total bid amount of $1,157,335 even. That's $1,157,335 from VT Electric Incorporated. The next bid is from Crosstown Electrical and Data Incorporated for a total bid amount of $1,197,476 even. That's $1,197,476 from Crosstown Electrical and Data Incorporated. For the record, line item number 33 has been lined out and initialed by the contractor. The fifth bid received is from KDC Incorporated, doing business as Dynalectric, for a total bid amount of $863,800 even. That's $863,800 from KDC Incorporated, doing business as Dynalectric. The sixth and final bid received for this project is from Elecnor Belco Electric Incorporated, for a total bid amount of $776,172 even. That's $776,172 from Elecnor Belco Electric Incorporated. For the record, line item number 1 and 8 have been lined out, and both lines have been initialed by the contractor. Mr. President, that concludes the bid openings for today's agenda.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you, Kumi. Is there a second to my motion for an order that the bids have been received, opened, and declared forthwith by Commissioners Villegas and Caloza? Any objection? Without objection, that'll be the order. Dr. Campos, did you receive some speaker cards on agenda item number 4?
I have not yet. However, I am anticipating about 4 to 6 speaker cards on that item. As soon as I receive them, I will hand those over to you.
Okay. Let me go ahead and grab one more item. Let's go ahead and take care of our authority for expenditure. Actually, we've got an administrative item as well. Specifications submitted. This is agenda item number 8. Specifications submitted for board adoption and authorization for the invitation of bids. Council districts 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 13, and 15 for the Highway Safety Improvement Program, Cycle 6, Project 1, 2, and 4. This is a federal project. The numbers are in the agenda. The estimate's $2,704,670, and the bid receipt date is on December 18th, 2019. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 8 forthwith? By Commissioner Villegas and Commissioner Davis. Any objection? With that objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 7 is an authority for expenditure for on-site truck wash incorporated. Sanitation and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $150,000 to provide mobile fleet washing services for sanitation's collection trucks. We seem to do this every year or so. Mr. Zari, on agenda item number 7.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney, and Dr. Campos. My name is Jonathan Zari, representing LA Sanitation and Environment. This authority for expenditure is for on-site truck wash, Inc., to provide mobile fleet wash services for LA Sanitation's collection trucks. These services shall be performed on-site in the parking area at the designated city facility. On-site truck wash shall provide appropriate personnel, cleaning solutions, washing equipment, and mobile vehicles necessary to perform the service. This term of agreement is from July 1st, 2019 to June 30, 2020, and not to exceed $150,000.
Okay, is this this is for the current fiscal year. Are we spending about the same amount that we've spent in prior years with maybe an increase for consumer price index?
Fortunately, no, we haven't. It hasn't changed. It's been $10.99 since we executed this contract back in, I believe, in 2010. So we've been fortunate enough to maintain the pricing, although we have on the pipeline a new contract for two service companies to be providing mobile services, and that price have increased. So moving forward, maybe in the near future, in the next 3 months, we'll be coming to you for approval for two contracts for this mobile fleet wash services.
All right, well, that one's not on the agenda, so we're not going to deal with that one, but we'll deal with this one. Any other questions? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 7, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? With that objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and take care of agenda item number 4, since we have, I know we have some people here to speak on the item. Agenda item number 4, Council District 8, request for authority to execute an agreement between the City of Los Angeles with Destination Crenshaw for the implementation of the Destination Crenshaw Outdoor Museum project, recommending that the board first approve and forward the report and transmittals to the mayor and city council, with recommendations that it incorporate the following changes to recommendations 5 and 6 in the council motion approved on August 12th, 2019. The council files 19-0898. That's transmittal number 1. Secondly, approve and authorize the city engineer to negotiate and execute an agreement with Destination Crenshaw for the implementation of the Destination Crenshaw Outdoor Museum project for a not-to-exceed amount of $26 million. Third, authorize the Bureau of Engineering to be the grant administrator on behalf of the city. And fourth, authorize the city engineer or his designee to make any technical or accounting changes as necessary to effectuate the intent of the motion. And Mr. Drucker, before we call on you, we have some speakers. We'll start in the order in which I received them. Mats Johansson. And if I said your last name wrong, it might be Johansson.
You did all right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Oh, of course. I'll just need to call them for the record, but yeah.
My name is Mats Johansson. I live in Baldwin Hills in a house that has been in my wife's family since 1959. I recognize that our neighborhood is in transition. It is important to remember and honor all the history of South Los Angeles. I fully support Destination Crenshaw, helping to preserve the history and culture of this unique place and sharing this with both locals and visitors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johansson. Shirley Worrells? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a resident also of Baldwin Hills Estates, and I've been in the community building projects. I've been associated with them for several years. I was involved in the first community meetings to give input for the vision and aspirations of my community as it related to the aesthetics of the Crenshaw corridor. Though I was really happy about everything that was going on, I didn't get excited until Destination Crenshaw started to take form. I think that this is going to be a prolific cultural undertaking in our community. And I was recently in the Bay Area. I talked to friends. They knew about it. And that let me know that this is truly going to be a destination. And I think that that'll bode well for the city of LA and especially for the Crenshaw area. So I hope that you will continue to support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Carrie Jordan?
Good morning. My name is Kerry Jordan, and I'm a fourth-generation owner of Jordan Hot Dogs, which has made South Los Angeles our home for 54 years, and 4 of those years we've been in the Crenshaw district. As a legacy business located on Crenshaw, we take pride in our community and know how important it is for legacy business like ours on Crenshaw or anywhere to be preserved and to have an integral part in Crenshaw's future. This past summer, I was able to canvass the community to spread the word about Destination Crenshaw and the benefits that will come along with the project, like employment opportunities and commission artwork. We are excited to support Destination Crenshaw and encourage more people and to research the project and to get involved where they can. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Greg Doolin?
Good morning. I am a second-generation business owner on Crenshaw, and my family has operated 3 soul food restaurants in South Los Angeles for about 50 years. We currently have just under 100 employees. I am very excited about Destination Crenshaw because of the traffic that it will bring to our beautiful community. Crenshaw is changing rapidly. I just took out a new loan recently to renovate my restaurant because I'm trying to get ready for the millions of visitors that we're expecting to come view Destination Crenshaw. I'm currently working on my kids to make sure there's a 3rd generation, which is a challenge sometime. But Destination Crenshaw is important because it's important to me that we maintain the community and the culture that's there and that we represent it, and we're trying to tie in the food that I do with the culture and everything like that. And I think it would be a really good project, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Poindexter? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, happy days when Jesus walked and when the Board of Public Works authorized the funding for Destination Crenshaw. In 1965, my family relocated from Northern California to Los Angeles. It was in June of 1965, and if you can remember back of that far, that was a few days before the Watts resurrection or insurrection. And I have been a retired teacher for over 10 years, living in the Crenshaw district since then. And it seems that Crenshaw was in time out. It means to me that you guys now recognize how enriched Crenshaw is and what it brings to the table. And I say this truly, oh, happy days, that you are now going to move forward and build Crenshaw. Thank you very much, each and every one who has participated and given Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Poindexter. Mr. Drucker. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Neil Drucker, Bureau of Engineering. I'm very pleased to present this morning the Destination Crenshaw Board Report for your consideration. First of all, before I start, I'd like to thank a lot of the city staff who are here today that really spent a lot of time putting this all together and working directly with the Destination Crenshaw team, including Ted Jordan, the city attorney for the Board of Public Works, who I know spent a lot of time reviewing and giving amazing suggestions for the agreement that was put together by David Horano and Selena Kuhn, as well as my Bureau of Engineering staff, Ganwoo Choi and Joanne Zhang, who are all here today. And they spent a yeoman's amount of time really putting this together and really thinking about how we do this agreement with Destination Crenshaw in a sensible way that allows the city as well as the state and MTA to assure that their funds are being properly spent while still allowing Destination Crenshaw reasonable flexibility. So thank you. I also would like to thank Joanne Kim and Kristen Gordon of Council District 8, who have truly tirelessly worked on this project over the last number of years, working also directly with the Destination Crenshaw team. And finally, the community who's out here today, who's attended numerous meetings, who's really spent a lot of time fundraising and working with the Destination Crenshaw designer and future contractor to make sure this project moves forward. So we are glad we are here at this day, and what we would like to ask the board to do is approve the recommendations of the Bureau of Engineering first, to approve this report and forward it to Mayor and City Council forthwith, to concur with the recommendations, specifically item 3 and 4 below, which modify the council motion items 5 and 6. So item 3, which authorizes the Bureau of Engineering to be the grant administrator. Previously, the motion indicated that Bureau of Contract Administration would be the grant administrator, but after a number of discussions, it was felt that the Bureau of Engineering is the normal city agency to do that for the Department of Public Works, as we do a number of grant projects similar to this. And then second...
And Neil, sorry to interrupt you, but I would only add that is, of course, you mentioned the discussions. That is, of course, with the agreement, I would argue even, well, I was there, so I would state, enthusiastic agreement of Mr. Reamer and Contract Administration. They're very pleased with the partnership on this, and they're excited for engineering to take that role.
Thank you. Yeah, you are 100%, President James. We've worked directly with BCA, and that doesn't mean they will not be involved in the project. They will, of course, be completely involved in the project throughout the project completion of design and certainly throughout construction on public facilities. So you're right, we are working as a team, and I thank John Reamer and Sefi here and all her staff, Chris Smith, and others who've really also been involved with this throughout. And then the final one is item 4, which is to authorize the city engineer to make any necessary technical changes to effectuate the needs of this board report. And the original motion, item 6, indicated that it would be the CAO. We will, of course, work directly with the CAO, Bureau of Contract Administration, and the city attorney in this board, in fact, if any changes are necessary. But hopefully, we spent a lot of time on the agreement, and I think it should move forward as is, and the Bureau of Engineering recommends approval. Thank you. Any questions?
Let me, first of all, before I go to Commissioner Davis, let me just say, you can talk a bit about the project. And we've had presentations on the project. I've been in meetings with the consultants, and this is such an exciting legacy project for the future that really brings together the history of the city with what our future is going to be. It's incredibly exciting. We'll hear more about that in a moment, but I just want to say a few thank yous to folks that have been working on this, and frankly, have been working on this through, when a big project like this is first proposed, I think folks look at it as, oh, sure, they can get that done. You know, it's big government, it's a big city. And every step of the way, not without challenges, of course, they have succeeded and exceeded kind of the dreams of what this project can be. And so today's a very big step. First of all, our city attorney, who's our general counsel for the Board of Public Works and the Department of Public Works, Ted Jordan, you don't know this necessarily, but I had several conversations with people regarding this project who were very appreciative to me of your time and your effort and your work and great work and expertise on this. They very much appreciate it, so thank you. To Gary Lee Moore, our city engineer, and John Reamer, who are great partners in their careers on so many things. I want to thank both of them and the teams that they work with, as you mentioned, Seffi Wallace, who's here, Mr. Drucker, yourself. And David Hirano is here from our city administrative officer. Thank you, David. I know how much you care about this project. We met recently about it going forward. Thank you to Rich Llewellyn. And then I also really can't move any further without referencing the vision of this council office and the time and effort. Joanne Kim, who I work with on many things, Council District 8, this is an exciting day for you all, and we've had lots of discussions on getting here today, and you know, your really just unwavering support and nonstop effort in support of this project, day and night, weekends too. I know your community and your council office knows about it, but let me just put an exclamation point on it. Thank you to you and your team. And of course the vision of the councilman, Councilman Harris Dawson. As early as I remember talking to him when he was in office, this was, you know, this was a vision of his that is now becoming this reality, and not just for the Council District 8, but for the city and for the region, the county, and the state. It'll be a national destination. I love hearing from the community members and the stakeholders this morning about the investments you're planning to make and what that will mean collectively for the entire community. When you couple that with the public transportation that's happening, all of this is so exciting and a long time coming. So thank you all for your support and hard work on this. And with that, I'll turn over to Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, President James. It's certainly an honor and privilege for me to hear the constituents of South Los Angeles come before us today with their excitement and the passion that they have for this project. I think it's critically important as we seek to achieve diversity here in the city to have projects like this that reflect certainly a community that both economically and socially is a significant part of the Los Angeles community. And I think in our support of this project, we are demonstrating and reflecting the values of our government and of the leadership of the city, and particularly the leadership of the mayor, who has always said that through his back-to-basic principles that he wants to include a society in our city where all feel welcomed. I see this project as such a project. I too, like President James, would like to commend Council Member Marquise Harris Dawson, because this truly is a project demonstrating excellence. It has economic development value, but it also has both historical and cultural value. And I think that I'm excited about the fact that as a result of this project, that it will help to stir more economic assets or more economic business for the small businesses and the general business community in the South LA area where this project will exist. I think that also we cannot forget that all of the levels of government who have come together have clearly indicated their commitment and their passion about including the South Los Angeles area in this city in the work that we do. I am proud of the work and the commitment of the state of California, the Los Angeles Metro, and of course the local city funds all coming together to make this project. And in conclusion, we look forward to supporting this project, and we know that it will be an example not only of what Crenshaw can do, but what other communities throughout the city can do. So I thank you so very much, and I'm eager to cast a vote in support of Destination Crenshaw.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. I'll take that as your motion, but before I second it, I do want to add, you referenced this, and I knew you would, thanking our partners in government. I just want to state for the record, it's in the board report, but I want to state for the oral record the partnership funds that have been acquired to date through the hard work of the council office, because this is remarkable when you look at the amount of funding that has come in to date on this, well on its way to its final goal. But for the $26 million in funding that we're talking about now, the state has stepped up with $10 million, LA Metro with $14.5 million, and the city for $1.5 million. So again, just to echo Commissioner Davis's comment and thanks to this regional, indeed statewide now, partnership on such an important project for the future of California. So that's Commissioner Davis's motion. I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any issue sending 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Thank you all. Congratulations. That'll take us to agenda item number 3. Actually, let's go ahead and do number 6. We have an authority for expenditure for business outreach services for the Office of Contract Compliance. Contract Administration and Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $23,629.37 for various core business outreach services for the Office of Contract Compliance in order to increase the participation of small, minority, and local businesses at the City of Los Angeles Board of Public Works Access LA event in the San Fernando Valley. And I know that our Vice President hates being out sick for this one, but this is one of her her projects that she leads on. But Ms. Tambuco, good to see you.
Good morning.
Oh, wait one moment, Angela. Mr. Sachs, you put in on a card on number 6.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Arnold Sachs. So the Office of Contract Compliance, when they do their business outreach services, I mean, we've heard about lists of businesses that are predetermined by the different departments, and we've heard about businesses that are on internet and the clouds. They're all over. How does the Office of Contract Compliance initiate contact and contracts with all these different departments and all these different businesses? And this LA event, Access LA event, what is Access LA event? Is that for insurance purposes, for the city, for the city workers, or for the public? It's a Los Angeles Board of Public Works Access LA event. That would be this board having Access LA event opportunity. And what would your opportunities be presented to the public? I mean, what exactly would you present? The opportunity to come in and speak before the board on certain items? Isn't that a neighborhood council type thing? Shouldn't that be important to the neighborhood councils? And even the city councilmen themselves should be paying attention. It is their districts that they represent. And the other part of this is when you come before this board, this is where you get in real trouble sometimes, is when you come before the board and present your complaints, somebody will come over the top and say, oh, that SOB is complaining. We'll teach them to complain about a project we want because we have big money. And big money always wins in LA. It's pretty fascinating. You should have been at the Board of Supervisors yesterday. That was a fascinating meeting. absolutely one of the most fascinating meetings
2
you
minutes.
could ever imagine.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Sachs. Ms. Tambuco. And you can talk a little bit, Angela, about accessing LA. I think Mr. Sachs asked some very valid questions.
Okay, good morning. Accessing LA is a networking event that the Bureau of Contract Administration puts together. What we do is we provide opportunities for city departments, prime contractors, subcontractors that we've outreached to, and for them to create connections with each other. So we publicize the event through LA Bobbin, and we also publicize it through the different council districts that are participating, and also through the different advocacies and organizations. So we publicize this event throughout the whole city. So the request is for the authority for expenditure to cover the cost to pay the vendors for the most recent event that concluded in September at the San Fernando Valley.
Great. We'll start with Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. Thanks for that information. Just a quick question. Where do the funds come from?
The funds come from a budget that was set aside for outreach, set aside from the city budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if they're general fund dollars or not?
That's what I was getting.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. The total budget for the whole year for 3 major events and 2 other smaller outreach events is $100,000. So we're spreading it out across 5 events, 3 majors and 2 smaller ones.
Commissioner Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. The AFE does indicate that these are general fund monies coming in from Fund 100, Department 82, which is the Bureau of Contract Administration.
Thank you. Commissioner Closa?
Thank you, President James. This is not a question, but just additional background in addition to what Angela presented on. But Accessing LA, we have 3 of them each year. So it's Team With, Build With, Rise With. And so it's Commissioner Garcia, Davis, and I each take a turn hosting one. And it's actually been really nice to have some general funds this year for the very first time. So we're not scrapping together resources to put together, I think, what are our largest networking events for the contracting community, at least for public works. And so I think BCA has nicely divided it up to cover the 3 events and some additional outreach materials that we can use for a very long time. I just wanted to add that additional background.
Thank you, Commissioner Close. Anything further? All right, I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Thank you, ma'am. Any issue sending number 6 forthwith? We'll send number 6 forthwith. Let's go ahead and take care of number 5. Council District 11, Contract Award, Kiewit Infrastructure West Company, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Service, Water Facility Improvements. It's a capital improvement project. It's a rebid. Recommending that the board declare and award Kiewit Infrastructure West Company a contract as the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder for the project at $2,692,000. Secondly, authorize myself or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. Mr. Sachs, you have a card in on number 5.
Yes, thank you, Arnold Sachs, and thank you for the clarification. So when the city and the county get into their business-to-business plan that's coming up, that they're planning on doing, how will contracts be, how will contracts be perused, looked at, awarded, any of the above, questioned? Will they be allowed to have public comment? Because essentially, business to business means straight line. One business talking to one corporation or one corporation talking to another corporation, and it'll make it very difficult for you to say, I mean, you could come in and talk about something, but by the time you come in and talk about it, it'll be, that horse will be down the highway in the next county. Sometimes that happens, you know. They did yesterday, they had an agreement with Orange County, community agreement. And I'm thinking to myself, but does Orange County have a reciprocal agreement with LA where for local targeted hiring, and yet they have agreements to hire people in Orange County? That doesn't sound like local targeting. So when you do that and you brag about it, that makes it even twice as difficult to swallow, because you're sitting up there saying, you know, we don't give a rat's ass. We're going to do what we're going to do. That's what made that meeting so fascinating to be at yesterday. If you get a chance, maybe you can watch it on cable TV tonight. Really, there's some real insights you can take out of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Cirillo on number 5.
Good morning, Mike Cirillo with the Bureau of Engineering. I'm here for a contract award for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Surface Water Facility Improvements Project. Let me talk a little bit about what this facility does and is before I get into the actual award report. So the surface water facility is kind of the last stop in the treatment process. It's where we treat the water to tertiary filtration standards through cloth media filters, and then that reclaimed wastewater is reused for cooling water throughout the facility. In particular, they use it for high-pressure effluent washdown throughout the plant. Our cryogenic facility, which produces pure oxygen, the water is used there for cooling. And then a big portion of this water goes over to our bioenergy facility, which is known as DGUP. We send about 25 million gallons a day of water over to DGUP for cooling so they can keep operational in that process and not use potable water. So this facility was due for some upgrades. So we originally bid this project in February 2019. The bids far exceeded the city engineer's estimate at that time, and we noticed some discrepancy in the plans, so we decided to take the plans back and correct them and make some improvements and rebid the project.
You got some nice competition from some very reputable companies in your rebid.
We certainly did. We got 9 bids, and the city engineer's estimate was $3.28 million, and the lowest bid was Kiewit at $2.69 million. Good bids, and actually, if you compare it to the original bids back in February, the low bid is actually lower than the bid we received in February. So the bids went down, which is unusual when
that can be unusual, yeah.
Yeah, since prices of materials and everything goes up, but that's a nice surprise. So the project will make some safety improvements to handrail and grading. It will also make some process reliability changes to make sure the facility operates reliably. The business inclusion outreach that Kiewit did performed was successful, and they've got some pretty decent numbers. On page 2, there's a table that summarizes all their outreach anticipated numbers, and then there's a breakdown on page 4 which lists all the subcontractors that they intend on using. And then finally, Bureau Contract Administration looked at the local business preference to see if the bid order would change, and since Kiewit was an LBE, there was no change in the order of bids. So with that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Any questions at all for Mr. Cirillo? I don't either. We don't have any protests on this item as well.
No.
I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 5, seconded by Commissioners Villegas and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Thank you, sir. Any issue sending 5 forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Agenda item number 2, Council District 14, a sublease agreement. Dependable Highway Express Company, the North Outfall Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 8, 6th Street to 8th Street project, recommending that the board first authorize the city engineer or his designee to enter into a sublease agreement with the Dependable Highway Express Company for the use of a portion of the property owned by the California Department of Transportation, that's Caltrans, identified as LAX 010-0077-01, located under the 5 freeway and bounded by 7th Street, Olympic Boulevard, and the Los Angeles River. Secondly, authorize the Director of the Office of Accounting, upon request of the city engineer or the city engineer's designee to draw a demand in the amount of $250,000 payable to the Dependable Highway Express Company to cover the cost of subleasing the area needed for the project. And Mr. Sachs on number 2.
Thank you again, Arnold Sachs. And if I come in on Friday with my head bandaged, you'll understand why. That's okay. And take some punishment here. So is this back to the 6th Street Bridge that we're talking about? Part of this? Would this include any part of? Maybe I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, but when they talked about the 6th Street Bridge construction here a few times, they mentioned some delays they had, and part of the delays were caused by not getting an agreement with the railroad company, the railroads, Union Pacific, Southern Pacific, one of the Pacifics. So I'm wondering, A and B, do they have to get any kind of right-of-way agreement with the railroads that isn't included in here? And based on some of the things that happened with that project, with bridge, and that are happening with that project, is there a better coordination between the companies that'll be doing this work, the contractors, the subcontractors, the city administrators, the rights that are necessary, the surveying, the boundaries, the deliveries, the pickups, whichever is involved? Have we learned anything in the city of Los Angeles? I certainly know they haven't learned anything in the county, but has the city taken steps to try to improve their delivery process or this whole process, or we have extra money that we can spend by redoing some things because we didn't care about doing it right at the first time? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Jimenez. It's a real property item, so I figured that's you.
Yes, it is. Good morning. Udi Jimenez, Bureau of Engineering, Real Estate Division. So this has nothing to do with the 6th Street Bridge. This is the repair of the north outfall sewer, which has failed at different parts. It was built in 1925, and it's a critical sewer that needs to be repaired. And it does go along the LA River and across the LA River from time to time. What we're here to ask for is the lease of property that's going to be used for 2 of the pits that are going to be required to do the repairs. The property is owned by the state of California, right next to the I-5 freeway, just next to the LA River. What Caltrans allowed us to do is to negotiate directly with the lessee, and actually was much more convenient and efficient to do that. Basically, Caltrans continue to get the regular rent from the tenant, and we're dealing directly with the tenant, and what we're asking for is the replacement cost of the use of the property and the operational costs that DHE has to incur as a result of the relocation that's necessary to accommodate this project. And that's what we're asking for today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll start with Commissioner Villegas.
Just a clarifying question, is the one-time cost?
Yes, it's for 8 months, and once we're done, we'll leave the place as we found it. Nothing happens to the long-term lease. The existing tenant, DHE, will move back and operate as it has now, in the past.
All right, thank you. Anything else? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2. Second by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any issue sending 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. That takes us to number 3, Council District 4, Construction Services Contract, Capital Improvement Project, Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant, the Maintenance Building Locker Room Improvements Project. Authorize the city engineer to use the construction services contract and issue task work orders to the contractor for an amount not to exceed $734,000 for the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant. This is the construction services contract. Cisco is the acronym for it. Cisco is not the company that we use for the contracting. Mr. Sachs on number 3.
Thank you again, Arnold Sack. By the way, it's the City of Engineering Department and Mr. Davis and Mr. James and Mr. Campos. You're endangered species. The women are taking over here. You know that. That could be a good thing. It can't be much worse than some of the people that are in elected office, even some of the women. Unfortunately, maybe we need to change some of that too. Excuse me for going off topic here. But this Cisco contract kind of reminds me of, like, is it Cisco? Is it Cisco? I'm thinking, I better say that for public comment. But $734,000 for locker room improvements. I understand the maintenance people come in. What exactly would they be doing in a I guess technically a dressing room for the maintenance people? I mean, they have to store their equipment, showers, bathrooms. Either they're getting some really nice jacuzzis, or the amount of money that's being spent on this for this contract. And by the way, would this be done by city Los Angeles people, city engineering? Well, it's a Cisco contract, so it's already been awarded to one of the predetermined contractors who could be from anywhere. That's a real problem. Again, when you talk about, well, we're going to bring jobs into the community, but you have a list of contractors that aren't part of the community. How can you bring jobs into the community or make people in, and you see people all around desperate for work? How can you bring jobs into a community when you have a list of contractors that are not in the community? It just, there's no connect there. And as long as you keep that disconnect, well, then you got no complaints.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Cirillo, welcome back.
Good morning. Again, Mike Cirillo with the Bureau of Engineering. So this is a maintenance locker room improvement project at our Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant. And let me put this project in context with kind of what's going on at LAG entirely. So there's major upgrades going on at LAG as part of the LAG Campus Improvement Project. This is about a $75 million project that's going to renovate other portions of LAG, in building a new personnel building, building new process tankage, which will allow for the advanced water purification facility for reclamation water in the future, building new odor control facilities, and building new chemical facilities. So this plant in general is due for an upgrade. I'll start with that because it was built in the 70s. It's about 40 years old now. So we're finding that along with adding new facilities, there's a need to upgrade the existing facilities that were built 40 years ago. This particular project focuses on the maintenance building and the locker rooms. So we have the Cisco contractors proposing to make modifications to comply with ADA requirements. This building was, as I said, constructed so long ago it does not comply with ADA, so that's one of the major things. As a result, we need to basically gut the entire restroom. We need to tear down walls. We need to move all the fixtures, enlarge the openings so we can make it ADA compliant. So it's a major upgrade. That means cutting the slab to redo all the plumbing. They used actually fairly decent construction back in the 70s, so a lot of the walls are actually cement and CMU block walls, which means they're extra sturdy and hard to demo, so we need to allow for extra cost to demo all that stuff out. New tile work, there's a new HVAC system being installed, new lighting, and all new fixtures and a new water heater. We're also going to replace the main plumbing line that feeds this building because there has been some blockages and problems in the past, and there's been pluggage, and so the contractor is going to replace that entire line. So it's due for an upgrade. You can see in the photos it's pretty outdated. And the reason we want to use Cisco is because of the nature of the work. Because it's a rehab type project, it's difficult once a contractor gets in there and you open up the walls and you take everything out. You really don't know what you're going to find with a 40-year-old facility. And the danger by bidding it out is you pay the contractor for any delays or unforeseen conditions you encounter, which could add significant cost to the project. So we feel that due to the rehab nature of the project, Cisco is really probably the best vehicle to deliver it. As I mentioned previously in other reports, if Cisco contract gets extended a little bit longer because of these unforeseen conditions or extra work, we don't pay any like overhead costs for the contractor to be on site for any additional time. So it seems like the right project for Cisco. It is. I am asking for $734,000, but I will let you know that there's about a 20% contingency in that number. So we expect to award it to the Cisco contractor less than that, 20% less, and then have that money available just in the event that we do encounter some unforeseen conditions when we get into construction. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. As always, a very thorough explanation. I don't have any questions. Any other questions? And this is closer to the range for the Cisco stuff that we do. We're not in the
particularly if we go down 20%, then we'll be right in the sweet spot. Yeah.
Around the $500,000 range rather than the 7-figure range.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3.
I second that motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? With that objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Thank you, sir.
Great, thank you.
Any issue sending number 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. Dr. Campos, have we cleared all the voting items?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then that takes us to our oral report. Agenda item number 9, which is on landfill closures from sanitation. Mr. Sachs, first, one moment, sir. Mr. Sachs, you have a card in on number 9 for whatever time you've got left. Okay. You have 2 minutes, sir. You've managed your time well today.
I don't know. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed coming in here and speaking, pointing out some of the things that I think are somewhat destructive and make it very tough for middle-class Angelinos to survive. That being said, the landfill closures update. Exactly how many landfills are we talking about? I know that Sunshine Canyon landfill has been, I guess, a pain in my butt ever since I started coming here and going to the county board in 2008. They made some math that is just inconsequential. It's mind-boggling, and they never, ever changed it. And after the first couple of meetings, when they could have said, you know what, we're going to table this, they left it on they left it as it is. They never really changed the math. And, you know, they're talking about Veterans Day next door. If you don't change the math, then veterans who've gone to war to fight for the Constitution, if you don't change math, then you tell people, we don't give a rat's ass about any of your rules, any of your laws, anything. Math is like a fundamental concept. You can't do science without math. You can't do English without math. You gotta know the numbers of the letters in the alphabet. You can't do anything without math. And when you present bad math, you're not just presenting bad math and you're keeping it, you're saying, F you to middle class, veterans, anybody who's made a sacrifice to come in here and speak, you're saying, we don't care. Change the math, and then you have something happening. And then you know what else happens? People outside of Los Angeles see this.
2
They
minutes.
want to know who's in charge.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Cruz, welcome, sir.
Good morning, Mr. President, board members, guests. I'm Ray Cruz, Assistant Division Manager for LA Sanitation, representing Solid Resources and Processing Construction Division. I'm here to give the yearly landfill report. The city owns and operates 5 closed landfills. We have Lopez Canyon, Toyon Canyon, Bishop Canyon, Gaffey Street, and Shoughton Arleta landfills. All landfills are currently in post-closure maintenance, beneficially reused partially or completely. We have Lopez Canyon CD7, Lakeview Terrace, years of operation 1970 to 1996. Landfill closure was completed in 2012. Lopez continues to be an environmental and community beneficial facility. We have our landfill gas to energy facility. Currently, all gas produced is converted to green power. Approximately 2 million kilowatts of power is produced every month. Power produced is sold to the LA Department of Water and Power. 50% of the royalty received from the sale of power is deposited in the Lopez Canyon Community Amenities Fund. We also have the Lopez Canyon Environmental Center. We process yard trimmings collected from the curbside collection program and brush delivered by private haulers into mulch and compost, which we offer to the residents and schools for free. We also have Lopez Canyon Environmental Education Center. Residents come and they can learn about backyard composting, smart gardening, stormwater harvesting. Excuse me. In partnership with Pacoima Beautiful, we offer classes on the fourth Saturday of every month on urban gardening and backyard composting. The
Mr.
class
Cruz,
is so successful.
One moment on those community events that you're referencing that people love. They've been going on for some time. Is the attendance participation or the participation rate, is it staying steady? Is it going down? Is it going up? A little of both?
Well, actually, we've grown. We had 100, so we actually have it in the south now. We have it at the Harbor Wetlands, so we have 3 locations that we offer classes. The biggest one is Lopez Canyon, but the ones we just incorporated last year in the south side are coming up to maybe 60 residents. So it's a really big thing, and I think a lot of the open houses help us purvey our message towards the residents of composting and everything. Half of them don't know it, so when they get to the open house, it's a great, like I said, asset for us to show the community what we do, and then they really get involved after that.
Yeah, it's a great thing that sanitation does, these open houses, and we appreciate you all continuing with that. I remember in the earlier days, folks were like, will people come? And yes, and they continue to come.
Absolutely.
So it's great. Thank you.
Okay, we also have, excuse me, our helipad that we partnered with the LA City Fire Department and built next to the million-gallon tank for use by the LA Fire Department for training and firefighting. It's also an important resource for fighting the fires in the adjacent area. We have the trailhead and head development plan. Although the conversion of the landfill into a park is still years away, we are working on developing some buffer areas within the landfill property and community to use as a horse equestrian trail. We work closely with the community and the Council District 7 on developing a trail and equestrian staging area. Currently, we are in the early stages of the construction phase of the equestrian trail. Anticipated completion is about 8 months. We're looking at June 2020 for hopefully the completion of the trail. Our community outreach is very important to us. We reach out to the local neighbors, and that continues to be a high priority. We try to keep them informed and involved through periodic meetings, phone calls, and emails. Next, we have Toyon Canyon, CD4, Mount Washington Drive, Griffith Park. Years of operation, 1957 to 1985. In post-closure maintenance, we established a controlled horse trail throughout the landfill, a small resting picnic area at the landfill on the equestrian community. Post-closure maintenance is in progress, and will continue for several years. Due to new regulations, the existing gas and energy plant was shut down in January 2017. We are currently flaring the gas and working with another company, 3-phase renewable, to replace the old engines in compliance with the new AQMD rule. DWP approved the application for the feed-in tariff program, and we are currently working with the contractor and the Recreation and Parks on amending the existing contract. Next location is Shallon Arleta, Sun Valley CD6, years of operation, 1962 to 1974. A large recreational complex, Cesar Chavez Recreation Complex, was developed at the 40-acre site. Improvements include ballparks, soccer fields, playgrounds, passive recreation. Our construction crew completed the grading work. Some of the park improvements, a total of 20 acres, 11 acres recreational and 9 acres passive, were constructed by both using city forces and contractors. Plans for the improvements of the remaining 20 acres are being prepared by the Bureau of Engineering. We have Gaffey, that's CD15, San Pedro, years of operation, 1955 to 1963. Converted 17 acres into soccer fields in 2002, currently being used by the American Youth Soccer Organization in the area. We completed the rebuilding and landscaping of the slopes to reflect the surrounding areas. We are currently working with the Council District and LA Community Gardens Councils to improve and properly manage the community gardens located adjacent to the landfill. At the entrance of the collection yard, we are replacing the irrigation system and separated from the city system. We also have Bishop Canyon, that's CD1, Academy Road, years of operation 1966 to 1969. Converted the park in 2000 to baseball fields, playground equipment, and barbecue areas throughout. Due to settlement, the bathroom and concessions building next to the baseball fields were demolished. Our construction crew completed the demolition, the rough grading work, recreations and parks, performed a fine grading, and completed the reconstruction of the field. This concludes my report. Is there any questions?
So we'll start with Commissioner Caloza.
Thank you, President James. I think this might be the first time that you gave this update since I've been on the board, but I think it would be really helpful to have something presented to us, whether it's in writing, so it's a little bit easier to follow as you go through all the closures, all through the community events, all the updates that have happened as a result of the closures. I know it'd be personally beneficial for me, and I know that given the community interest, and you guys are clearly doing a lot of outreach events, that would be incredibly helpful to have handy in terms of your upcoming calendar or any past work that you've done in terms of all these workshops and events. Yeah, so not questions, but if there's even anything that you can share with us after for any upcoming events, that would be helpful. I know a lot of us like to go out on the weekends and participate in different events
Absolutely.
that the bureaus have.
This is the first time I'm meeting the two new commissioners. Welcome on board. But normally what we do is we do have a meet and greet, and then we do a facility tours of our facility. So you're welcome to come anytime you like, and we can set that up, and I'll have that set up with you. I'll send them to your emails and see when you're available.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Villegas.
Hi. It's good to meet you. I can't see far, but now I put my glasses on.
I can't see near, so.
I can see my papers. I just can't see far. So I thank you for that update. It was very thorough. I just took a couple of notes. I didn't realize that we had so many baseball fields that come from County World, and we were doing a big park over at Puente Hills facility. So this is encouraging to hear that there's so much open space. And I realize that some of these landfills just need some time to settle. My questions are surrounding Lopez Canyon. Seeing that you still have operations there, it seems like just on gas issues. I was wondering if there's any long-term thoughts on any receiving any kind of food waste, to help out.
Well, at this current time, we're not permitted at Lopez Canyon for food waste, but we do have a pilot program going at our Clark's facility, which is a transfer station, and at Griffin Park Compost, we do have a small pilot program going on for food waste operations. Because when we use food waste, we got to totally compost, so that means no more mulch. So we're in the process of seeing what our viability report will come out stating what's going to happen at Lopez.
What your pilot project is located where?
Griffith Park Compost Facility and at Clark's. But you can come to Clark's, we actually haul it to another area. But if you come to Griffith Park, we do have it there where we incorporate it with our...
I've been hearing about Clark's, so I'm probably do some type of a tour or something.
Well, definitely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I would only just add that, it's interesting, Ray, when you go through the history of the years of the various closures of these facilities, it's a reminder of, how significant they were some years ago, and the work that the city's done to change that trajectory while the population's grown significantly. So I would only mention that. So we'll close with that. The oral report we received. Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
All right, then we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice Wednesday.